5 Unexplained Paranormal Stories. Let's begin. Carissa Glenn was an 18-year-old from England. She started experiencing a strange, ghostly presence within her home in Cornwall. The feeling she was experiencing was not helped by the rumours that were said that a male actually hung himself in the very same flat. Carissa had a history of sleepwalking and acting out her dreams in the past. This was extremely problematic because ever since she's moved into the house, she's actually started having dreams about her hanging herself. After an evening of drinking, she went home and went to bed, but she didn't quite wake up. She was found hanging from a rafters by a scarf.
One night in the 90s, a journalist, Brian Bethel, was approached by two young children. The kids were around 10 years old, and Brian Bethel had experienced a fear unlike any other. The children said that they had wanted to see a particular movie but had left their money at home. They had then asked Bethel if they could have a ride back to their house. Still stunned with fear, he started his car and slowly decided to drive away. They had told him they couldn't have got into his car unless he had invited them in. With that, Brian had drove off. He had wrote onto a blog online of his experiences with the children. Later, people had started sharing, over time, the same experiences with the children.
In 1976, a man named Alan Showery killed a fellow hospital worker, Teresa Basser, by stabbing her and setting her on fire. There was little evidence to link Showery to the murder. In fact, the only evidence the police had was an account and the only witness of Teresa Basser. A year after Basser's death, another worker in the same hospital claimed that she'd saw Basser, her spirit, in the hospital's lounge. Chua soon started acting uncharacteristically. She started singing songs she'd never sung before, or even knew, and started walking around the halls as if she was in some sort of trance. One evening, Chua came to her parents and spoke to them in Basser's voice, talking about who actually murdered her. Sure enough, when the police investigated Showery's home, they found a lot of Basser's belongings within there, and actually forced him to confess. No one can explain why this happened to Remy Chua.
In 1995, a man named Terry Cold had killed himself with a 22-round gun by shooting himself in the head. As an organ donor, he had given his heart to a 57-year-old man named Sonny Graham. But when Sonny met Terry's widow, something strange had happened. Sonny had met Terry's widow to thank her for the heart and suddenly fell in love with her. They had then later married in 2004. After 4 years, their relationship had followed similar patterns as Terry's did, to the same point where Sonny had taken his life the same as Terry did.
Nobody believed Doris Bit Her. She was a constantly drunk mother who abused her own children, which this stemmed from the fact that she was abused when she was younger. However, everything changed when several paranormal experts, investigators, decided to sit in the room with her while she was dealing and struggling with her powerful entities. They were very skeptical at first, but then they eventually agreed. Sure enough, Doris actually started cursing at a few of the investigators. Suddenly, an aura began forming around her. A mysterious green mist was actually swirling around Doris's head. One of the investigators actually fainted, and no one knows to this day what actually happened.